Hi there! In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to make a book layout in Adobe InDesign, so let's get started. I'm going to click on Create New here to make a new document. Now, I'm going to explain every setting here as you need to know their functionality, particularly when you're creating a book layout. So, first of all, let's change the units to inches. You have other options as well to choose from, but when it comes to book design, the two most common units used are inches and millimeters. Now at this point the orientation is set to landscape, but then it all depends upon the dimensions I set here. So for example, my book is going to be 6 inches wide and 9 inches tall, and the moment I set it, you will find that the orientation automatically changes to portrait because the height is more than the width. So obviously it has to be portrait. Facing pages refers to whether or not you'd like your document to be presented as a 2-page spread. For this tutorial we'll do so. However, this option can also be changed after you've created your document. In the pages section, we are at liberty to enter the number of pages here, but usually while composing a book, we're not aware of the number of pages. So for now, let's keep it 2 pages. We can very easily add more pages later in the document. We'll use primary text frames to help make our text flow from page to page. So make sure this is toggled on. If you forget to do it while creating your document, you can always add this later as well. Start number is particularly used when you divide your book into multiple chapters. So for example, your book has a lot of images and text, and to avoid having a big sized document, you'd rather divide your book into sets of 3 chapters or 4 chapters so that the document size does not really make your computer processing slow. And when you're doing that, you know from which page your next chapter in the next document should start, and that page number would come here. And when you add automatic insertion of page numbers in your new document, it will then not start from page 1 but the page number you assign here. Alright, so column gutter is the space between 2 columns in the document, and I'd like my document to have 2 columns, so let's change it to 2 here. Margins are the borders or the space around your page, because your text will never start from the edge of the page because it would look ugly, so there has to be some margin specified by you beforehand. At the moment the margins are linked, so when you change one, all 4 will follow. But if you want to update the margin of any one here or even more than one, click on the link icon to unlink it, and now you can set individual margins of all 4 sides. And this goes for bleed and slug as well. Now bleed, as ominous as it sounds, refers to the area of your work that will be trimmed off. For example, let's say you have a layout where you want a full page image with no visible margin. You'll need to extend the work into the bleed area, so when the work is trimmed, things will look as intended. We'll use bleed in the document at a later stage, so let's keep it 0 for now. The slug area is just one of these optional page marks. Essentially, the area is located outside of the normal printing boundaries, and it contains information about the printing job. So when a document goes to the printing press, there are a few technical marks printed outside of the document area, and these are important for high quality printing. We don't really need any slug for this document, so let it stay 0 and hit create. So our document has 2 columns like we've set, and let me show you from where you can make changes to your document. So let's go to File and then Document Setup. Here you'll find the settings that were there in the Create a New Document panel. So after your document is created, if you want to make changes to the document layout, this is the place you need to come to. On the right, you'll find the Pages panel. If you don't see it there, you can always go to Window and then Pages. The shortcut to show it is Command F12 on a Mac or Control F12 on a PC. This is a very important panel when you are creating your book layout, particularly as a lot of work will happen here. At the very top of the Pages panel, we have our master pages. You will likely see None and A Master, the defaults. So what are master pages and why are they so useful? Think of it as your book format template. So master page or pages won't print. Instead, InDesign will use the master pages as a set of rules to apply to your active pages. You don't necessarily have to use master pages. By default, all your pages have a master applied to them. But if you don't want one to apply to a particular page, you can always choose None. Let's start out by editing a master. So double click on a master to start editing it. If you want to double check if you're inside the A master and not one of your active pages, you can check the bottom of the screen. This drop down tells you which page you're currently viewing. Using the current selection tool, when you click on the master pages, you'll find they already have the primary text frame applied, because we checked the primary text frame box when we created the document, remember? The primary text frame option in InDesign automatically creates one text frame on each page, sized to match the margins. You can always drag in to shorten the text frame should you want it. Now let's add page numbers to our document. Adding page numbers is not like we add page numbers on MS Word. It's slightly different but very simple. Let's grab the text tool and make a text box in here. And then go to Type. And then insert special character, and then markers, and then current page number. The moment you do that, you'll find the letter A assigned to it. And if your master has 2 pages, you'll have to make the text box and assign page numbers on both pages. So at this point, let me also tell you that you'll not always need 2 pages in the master, but for bookmaking, mostly 2 pages are used for more refined setting. So let's make another text box on the right page of the A master, and then go to Type, and then insert special character, and then markers, and then current page number. Now let's go to our document page, and you shall find the page numbers populating there. So when we add another page using the Create New Page button, our 3rd page will be added along with the page number. Actually, let's right align the page number in the master. The toolbar above is not appearing, so let's go to Window and then Workspace and click on Essential Classic, and now you'll find a new toolbar above. So with the cursor still in the page number section, just click on the right alignment here and your page number will be right aligned. Let's go to the document to check the alignment of our pages. Perfect. Let me increase the margin we have set so you can learn how to realign the primary text frame to the new margins. So let's go to File and then Document Setup and increase the margin to 0.5 inch and hit OK. Now click on the primary text frame and using the corners, resize the frame as per the margins for both the pages. And let's also bring the page number text boxes a little closer to the margins. Now let's go to the document to find the changes reflecting on every page. At this point, let's add another master. So to do that, let's right click on our A master here and go to New Master. By default, it becomes the B master. And let's base it on A master for now. By basing it on A master, all the settings of A master shall be copied to the B master, something we can further customize. So let's hit OK. Now you can see the 2 B master pages have the letter A sitting on them, signifying that A master settings have been applied to them. Let's change the B master a little. We don't want any text on the first page here, so let's click to select the primary text frame on page 1 of B master and hit delete. And let's go to the second B master page and let's say that I want my text frame to be shorter here. So let's drag the frame to make it shorter. I've made it shorter because I want to add a heading to this. So let's grab the text tool and make a text box. And type in chapter 1. I'm going to change the font to Times New Roman and size to 24 points, and also center align my heading. Let me remind you that we're making these changes to the B master and not to the document pages yet. So now we need text to be added to our document. So let me take you to a site, lipsum.com. So it is lipsum.com. Here you can generate text, and you can also specify the number of paragraphs or words or bytes or lists you want, and it will generate it for you. So let's say we want 200 paragraphs, and click on generate lorem ipsum. And you'll find 200 paragraphs generated in a flash. So select them using the mouse and hit Command C on a Mac or Control C on a PC to copy the text. And then get back to InDesign. And this time we're not going to paste the text to the masters. We'll come to the first page, grab the text tool, and click once on the top of our text column, and then right click and select paste. And you'll find how InDesign generates the pages automatically for us. And the text is smoothly flowing because of the primary text frame. And like I mentioned earlier, by default, all of the pages have a master applied to them. So let's say our chapter 1 starts from page 1 here. So what we can do is we can go to the thumbnail of page 1 and right click and then select apply master to pages. And from the pop-up, we can choose which master to apply to the pages. Or we can simply click on the B master, hold and drag it to the thumbnail of page 1, and voila, B master is applied to the first page along with the settings of the B master. So you see, it's that simple. Let's click the thumbnail of page 15 and then add a B master here as well, because we want chapter 2 to start from page 15. So double click on page 15 to show it on screen, and you'll find that the heading shows chapter 1 here. It's because whatever was there in B master, it just copied here. But the problem is that we want to change it to chapter 2 and not chapter 1. And when you click on it to make the changes, it just wouldn't select the text because it has been copied from the master. So to override the master settings, we need to hold Shift and Command on a Mac or Shift and Control on a PC and then click on it and it will get selected. And then you can make the necessary changes. So let's change it to chapter 2. Now let's say we want an image to be added to one of the pages. So let's add an image to page 24 here. I'm going to grab the rectangle frame tool and make a rectangle on top of the text here from margin to margin since the image is towards the inside of the page. Now let's go to File and then Place and locate the image on the computer. Now you see the image has been perfectly placed here, but there is text behind the image, so we need to fix that. So let's go to Window and then Text Wrap. Now here you have a few options to choose from depending upon the requirement. At this point, when I hover my cursor to this icon here, it says no text wrap, and that's the current setting. The option on the right says wrap around bounding box. So let's click on that, and now the text has jumped the image. And as you move your image along with the bounding box, which is the frame here, the text wraps itself. Here you can try other text wrapping options as well, and if you look closely to the icons, they are self-explanatory and you should be able to understand the situations where you'll need to use them just by looking at them. Also, you have the padding option for extra spaces from the bounding box. And much like I demonstrated earlier with the margins, this one also has the link option that you can click to unlink. And just choose one side or more individually to update the padding. We can even increase the bounding box to cover both the columns. So you see, when I expanded the bounding box, the image stayed in its previous size. So to make it behave, we need to right click on the frame and go to Fitting and then hit Fit Content to Frame. The content here is our image and the frame is the bounding box. Actually, this is the perfect time to introduce bleed. So let's go to File and then Document Setup and set the bleed to 0.125 and hit OK. And you shall see a red border all around. So if you have images printed and extended to the edges of the pages, it's always best to have the images stretched to the bleed so that when the printer chops off the edges, it gives you a clean print without any untidy white lines around the corners. So let's move our image to the bleed and stretch it all the way to the center of the page. Next, I'm going to talk about the paragraph styles. Paragraph styles are nothing but templates of settings that can be applied to the text of your choice. So the best way to do it is to first apply the settings to your text and then style them. For example, we have this chapter 2 text, which is our heading. So let's select it and let's go to Window and then Styles and Paragraph Styles. In the pop-up, click the small plus button to create a new style and rename it Heading. Now double click on the small area left to the word heading to open the settings panel. We already know that our heading had Times New Roman as the font and the font size was set to 24 points. However, we can always top it up with other settings from here. So let's go to Basic Character Formats tab and change the font to Futura. Let's also check the underline box and hit OK. And you'll find the settings being applied to our heading. Now this heading paragraph style has become more like a template that we can apply to any text we want. All we need to do is select the text and then click on the heading paragraph style and mission accomplished. Similarly, let's select the text of our document and make another paragraph style and double click on the style and rename it text. Here I'm going to change the font to Arial and hit OK. And you'll see that the highlighted text changed to Arial. To select the entire text, hit Command A on a Mac or Control A on a PC to select all. And then just click the text paragraph style once and the style shall be applied instantly. Similarly, let's select Chapter 1 heading and click on the heading paragraph style. And there you go, the style has changed to the paragraph style settings. Now let me show you how the book option works with InDesign. So a lot of times if your content is too heavy and loaded with images and your book has too many pages, it is always best practice to divide your book into chapters and then combine them to make a book. So for example, let's go to File and then New and then Document. Here I'm going to choose inches as the units and hit Create because the rest of the settings are pretty much the same as our existing document. Now close this document and save it with the name Chapter 3 to 4 and hit Save. Let's also close our existing document and locate it on your computer and change its name to Chapter 1 to 2 and then create another document much like earlier and hit Create and close it and save it with the name Chapter 5 to 6. So now we have divided our book into 3 individual pieces or documents. Now I'm going to go to File and then New, and this time I'm going to select Book. And in the pop-up, I'm going to save my book as the Odyssey. Suppose that's the name of my book, and then hit Save. And it brings me to this screen. You see this small panel with the title of our book, and there is a small plus button at the bottom of the panel. Just click on it, and then in the pop-up, click to select all 3 different documents or pieces of the book. You'll have to hold Command on a Mac or Control on a PC to make the selection here, and then hit Open. And there you go. This is our book open with 3 different documents that are basically different chapters of our book. So I can easily click on each document and make changes as per the requirement, and it will all be saved within the book. Doing this will not only solve my problem of a slow computer, but I will also be able to manage my documents with much ease. When you go to the location where you've saved the documents, you'll find that the book is saved with the INDB extension. whereas our documents are saved with INDD extension. That's how you can differentiate between them. Alright guys, that brings us to the close of this session and it's time for a short break, so I'll see you in just a bit. Goodbye.